All right, so welcome back to The Hunt. I'm Trish Hunt, your host, and I am so excited to welcome our next guest. I don't know what you guys were doing when you were 9, and subsequently when you were 17. I was probably on roller skates, riding roller skates to the Beach Boys, or, later in life, Madonna or Culture Club or whoever. And but our guest today, Sydney Sierota, was actually joining her band at 9 years old, and subsequently at 17 having a multi-platinum record. She is the lead singer of Echosmith, along with her brothers who play the drums and bass. So Sydney, welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad that I could be here.
Yes,
and,
thank you, sir, for coming in.
Of course.
Yeah,
Anytime.
So let's dive in just to share with the audience, just at 9 years old, I mean, you've had a passion for music really your whole life, right?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in the church, so we just were doing music since before I can remember. I mean, my first performance was actually when I was 2, so I literally don't remember
singing
it.
on stage
Yes.
at church?
Singing on stage on like a really tall stool. There's a photo somewhere. I have to find it, but I don't even remember that. So I can literally say I've been singing since before I can remember, which is so wild.
Well, it's very apropos because I don't know if you've listened to her, but you can certainly find her in all kinds of places, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she has the voice of an angel, and so that's very apropos that you started in church.
Oh.
And you've just had such amazing success at such a young age, and you didn't have like that normal childhood, right? Of going to school and all that kind of stuff throughout. But you have been, I mean, in Rolling Stone magazine and Teen Vogue and all of these, I mean, amazing, just a brilliant career so early in life.
It's kind of crazy because in my head I was like just having fun, playing music with my brothers, and we went from street performing to eventually, it was still a slow, steady burn, but I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm playing in front of, I don't even know, I'm terrible at guessing crowds, and then I come off stage and they'd be like, that was like 70,000 people, and I was like,
well, you've
oh my
toured,
gosh.
I mean, you have sold out stadiums in the United States and Europe. I mean, Owl City, you've played with Taylor Swift. I mean, you've had some amazing experiences, and you're just getting started.
I love when you say that, because when you start so young, it's so easy to be like, that was so fun, what's next?
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to have that perspective of like, okay, we're just getting started, and the best isn't behind you. You can actually decide to, decide what your steps are moving forward, and to have that perspective of gratitude, but also, just excitement for the future.
Absolutely. So you were around 17, I think, right, when Cool Kids went platinum, and now it's multi-platinum. I mean, that is hundreds of thousands of records sold for Cool Kids, right, and Bright as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going on with the band now?
So we are working on a brand new album, which is so exciting because we put out an album, I think like 2 months before COVID hit, and we were so excited to put that out. We went on a 3-week tour, and then right after, I think we finished on March 14th, and then everything hit the 15th. So we were, of course, I mean, the whole world was shocked, and I was like, what do we do? Should we just wait this out? I mean, that's what we all thought at first. We're just gonna wait it out, and I'll just like write songs here and there. But I don't know. We were all feeling overwhelmed with the weight of the world.
Sure.
But about a year ago, year and a half, I was like, okay, I can't wait this out any longer. It's already been, I don't know, at least a year.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, we are getting back in the studio. We are writing every day. We are finding our new sound, and I'm happy to say that we have found the new sound, which is,
talk to us about that. What can we expect?
you can expect, I mean, the ways that I would describe it is like exciting, definitely new, and very fun, but also there's a lot of depth there. So we're just honestly like trying to dig in deep and see how far we can go, instead of just, oh, this song feels good, of course we want to feel good, but we also want to dive deep into really what we're feeling and really what I believe in and what I'm going through. So it's pretty cool because we also have been diving back into our roots, meaning we brought in my oldest brother to come play guitar, co-produce the new songs, and it feels so good to have everyone back together in the studio again, because he several years ago when his wife was pregnant, he ended up leaving the band and staying home because we were all doing it together originally. So it just feels like a really great reunion of sorts. That's but amazing. Also like
because
going
you've got
back to
Graham on drums, and you've got Noah on bass, and you've got Jamie helping out in the studio.
Yeah, and it's so cool. And of course he's playing guitar too, which is his original instrument with us. And it just feels so good. We got guitar solos again, and they just feel so, it just feels good. It feels right, which is the feeling that you want when you're making music.
Well, I think you make such a great point, because so many people went through just so many struggles, just mentally and emotionally, during COVID. And you live here in San Diego, but your family is up more in the LA area, right? So you're back and forth. So, and you're such an influencer with, I think it spans across, a couple of different generations, actually. I think wasn't Cool Kids dubbed like the Anthem of Ages or
maybe,
something
I don't
like
even
that?
know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But I think we all have been there, so that would make
right?
sense.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about just how did you respond during COVID? So a year went by and everybody's like, okay, what's happening? Just like everybody else in the world, right? But then you got to a point where you said, I've got to decide to do something differently. So how was that for you? And you are such an influence too, and I've seen it firsthand, and you're just such a great spirit out there. And so like the light that you shine is really important. So just talk to us a little bit about things that helped you get through that.
That's a great question. I appreciate that so much, because I think it's so important to take care of yourself as well. You can't always be that person, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever that is for you, to other people at all times. So a year ago when, I also moved down to San Diego, so I'm far from my family. My parents moved to Idaho, so everyone just kind of like spread out a little bit, and I had never lived away from my family before. This is a new town, and, there was a time where I think I definitely was dealing with a lot of sadness and a lot of painful growth. But
you're also, at a young age where you're kind of navigating life. You got married. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. So, throwing yourself into a new city, you're like, okay, I love this, but who am I here? And who am I in general? So I honestly just decided, I had to decide to make a change instead of just sitting in my even grief of what we've all lost.
In your own doubt and fears and anxieties.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? I ended up finding an amazing therapist who has helped me grow so much in the past year or so. And I started going to a workout place every single day at the same time. And I started running at the beach. I started journaling. I started doing my quiet time in the morning, overlooking the beautiful ocean, so you can't go wrong. But I just decided to make a change and to incorporate routine in my life that filled me up so that I could be more full to then pour out. So that's when the songs started to come, the creativity started to happen again, and I was just so grateful. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel inspired, and no wonder, because I was letting myself recuperate and rest and also recharge in order to, do my job, but also love what I do again.
That is fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing about therapy. I think that takes a lot of vulnerability, a lot of courage, and I know your fans are probably just eating that up because you're so open, with them. You have such an ability to influence. So that's really fascinating, actually.
I think it's really good to be open about it too. And people think it's scary and oh my gosh, you have to have this certain thing to go to therapy. And I think it's so helpful and it's a great tool.
So tell us, how can people find you? What's next for Echosmith? When can we come watch you in concert? What's the plan?
We are planning a tour right now. We haven't announced it yet, so I can't say specifics, but definitely this year we are doing a tour.
Amazing.
We have new music coming out soon, I can't emphasize the word soon enough, but we're locking in that date right now, and we just are so excited to share what the new music sounds like and to get to play it live. That's one of my favorite things in the world. So we will be touring later this year, and everyone can just find us at Echosmith literally everywhere.
So Sydney Sierota, lead singer of Echosmith, so happy she joined us here today. Voice of an angel. Check her out. Check out Echosmith. You're watching The Hunt. More to come in a minute.